Hey guys, so this is Art Explained, my twice monthly videos for my patrons on Patreon, but are also here for your enjoyment as well if you don't follow me there. I go over new supplies that I buy or techniques or demos in these videos, and this week I went to Cultura, which is a semi-art store here in France, but it's the local, so I go there a little more often than others. And I got some new things, a watercolor varnish and a new pencil 0.9, so I'll be doing a demo of each of these, so stay tuned. These are the things I recently bought at an art shop here in France called Cultura. So there is this, which is a varnish for watercolors, which I've never used something like this before, so I'm very curious what it can bring to a painting, and I'm going to demonstrate it here and we'll see what it looks like. It was $4.45. They were going to charge me over €6 for it, but it was plainly written that that was not the price. I got a watercolor pencil here in white. I have a gray board that I'm going to do a painting on, which I'll do a whole video about, but I did get that the other day. And then I got a pen with a 0.9 mm pencil leads, which I've never had one this large before, so I'm very curious to see what it might bring to my sketches. And I also got a replacement leads here. Normally I use a 0.5, so I'll show a close-up of the differences in sizes, but for now we'll do the varnish first. Okay, so finally got this little bottle open, and it says to use in a well-ventilated area, so I've opened the window, but normally I think I would do this out on the balcony if it's something that I think I'll keep doing with. I'm going to use a wider brush to cover more area quicker, and it doesn't give any directions. It just says to do it in a ventilated area, so I think it's pretty basic. You just put it directly on, so we'll see how this goes. This is an old postcard painting I did of Gambit a long time ago, and I just thought it might be fun to see what happens to it. You can already see it's changing a few colors. Good thing I tested it on this first. Not something I really care about a lot. I'm wondering if this might actually be an issue with my brush. Maybe it wasn't a clean brush. I'll try something else with a different brush, and I'll come back and show you what's been happening with this one once it dries a little. Okay, so I have a different postcard painting here of Dr. Manhattan, his eyes. This is a different brush and still the same varnish. I'm going to see if I'm getting the same discoloration or not, as to what could be doing that. I did notice it dries very quickly on the other one, which is interesting. But if it's going to discolor things, I'm not sure how much I'd be using this. It might have just been an issue with my brush though, so I'm not totally convinced that it's discoloring yet. Just trying to get a quick even coat. Got everything. Alright. Okay, so it is basically already dry. It hardly needed even 5 minutes, I think, before it dried. I'm not sure how well you can see it. There's not as much of a sheen as I thought there would be. It really is more like a workable fixative if you've ever worked any on pencils. I'm shining some more light on it. There's not really a lot of sheen. Just barely a little wet there around the eyes, I think. But it didn't discolor this time, so I think that the discoloring on the Gambit must be down to the brush I used. It must not have been cleaned properly last time. But here, move the light so you can see better, focus in. It really discolored around in his hair here. And then there's some pink hues now here, which weren't there before. And then there's a lot of them here, which there's so much light, I can hardly see them here. There you go, you can see it a little better, the pinks. So that must have just been my bad, I think. I don't think that the varnish was discoloring it. Yeah, it seems interesting if it really would protect things in the long run. I'll probably use it some more, testing it out on different things. I'm not sure, like for this would be an aqua board, which is actually clay. I need to read up to see if it's suggested for that or not before I'd even think of putting it on that painting. But for paper, which most watercolors are on, it looks like it's doing okay. So that's good. Okay, so now we're gonna go on to the actual pencils. So here I have my Pentel Carry pencil, which is a 0.5 leads. And I normally use 0.5 B2. I don't really like HB that much. It's not my favorite lead, but it's the most prevalent. It's like the #2 pencil for pencil leads. It's everywhere. It's what everything uses when you first get a pencil. It's always that. And then this is the 0.9. You can see right there. It's got a huge hole here at the top. And this one is more of a architectural pen. You'll see that a lot in kits for architect students and things like that. This pencil was about a little over €5, and the leads were like €1.20, I think, something like that. There's 12 leads in these packs. So I'll just take these out and you can see the difference in size of the leads. Okay, so here we go with the large leads. Now, those are quite large, even looking at them here on the screen. Compare them with the 0.5s. So immediately you can see there's a big difference between these leads. Just sitting next to each other like that. So this is what I would normally work with, this 0.5, and this is 0.9, which looks gigantic in comparison. Now I'll get a piece of paper here and we can show you the exact differences in weight. So this is just a piece of printer paper. This isn't specific sketching paper or anything. This is really just to test out the leads a little more. Okay, so this is the new pencil. Now, of course it writes as normally, but even just me using it, I can tell there's a huge difference in the weight. Let's zoom out here. So this is the 0.5 in comparison with the 0.9s. No, yeah, there's a huge difference there. This one it feels like it's giving you more of a sketch line, as if you had a pointed pencil. You know, that would dull just a little after using it. It feels like that's the kind of tip you're using, as compared to the 0.5s, which feels like a continuously sharp pencil all the time. If that makes sense. I don't know how else to describe using it, because I more exclusively use mechanical pencils than regular pencils, but when you're using a 0.5, it feels like you have a pencil that's continually at a sharp point. And here now using the 0.9, it feels like that same pencil, but after, you know, another 4 to 5 minutes of drawing, and it's just a little more dulled, which I think will be interesting in my sketch videos as to what that could bring. So I'm curious. I'm not always sold on just using larger ones. People have often asked me which leads that I like to use, and I always say the 0.5s, but there might be a place for these 0.9s depending on what you're really trying to accomplish with it. I don't know if I would use it as a writing pencil with a lead that huge. And it's harder to come by. At 0.9, you don't get that in every single store. So if that's important to you to try and know where you can get the leads, I would definitely go with the 0.5s. You'll find that in every country, in almost any store that has pencils. So for the ease of finding, the 0.5s are best. So that's it this week for Art Explained, and If you have any questions about these products, let me know. I'll put the links to where you can buy them in the description, and I'll see you next week.